Good morning, everybody. Good Thursday morning. January the 6th, 2022. Before I start talking about anything else on this video, I want to give a shout out to whoever the person was who coined the phrase "Scammy Faye Baker," because I bow to this person. I tip my hat to you. That was a perfect description of her trying to be the next Facebook evangelist and not doing it. Just doing makeup and talking about being a good person and etc. and doing nothing basically. It's cold this morning. Well, there went my phone. Let's see if I can get it back up here. Like that, maybe it won't fall back down. Yeah, the person that coined, I got like a thumpy thump. It only does it when I'm going down this road because it's like downhill. I don't know what that could be unless it's my muffler, which it's not my muffler because I looked yesterday. Anyway, whoever came up with that Scammy Faye Baker, you're the master, because that was perfect. And she's just okay. So back to what I was going to talk about this morning. It's related to CMC, but this one is about Ed. Prank call Ed. Moan alone Ed, who's just as big of a liar as she is. I forced myself to watch his entire live last night. Now, I will admit that I did take my headphones out of my ears a few times and do other things, but for the most part, I sat there and I tried to hear and listen to what this man was talking about, which was basically like a repeat record. It's like, when you play a song over and over again, you just like get a song and you're like, oh, I really, and you play it on repeat. That's it. It was Shane Coyle, Cocaine Head, Prank Call My House, Call CMC Instead, my motorcycle club, I ain't gonna tell who it is, my Harley, I got 2 bikes, and that's it. Repeat. He has no content, no more than she does. He has nothing to talk about that's original. I challenged him several times. Why don't you just call Shane? Why don't you have Shane call you and talk man to man? Let Shane record it on his live and you record it on your live. That way there will be no discrepancy. There will be nobody to be able to say this wasn't said or that was said, because it would be right there in living color, But he ignored those comments. I'm probably blocked this morning because as soon as CMC had a chance, she probably went through all his comments and blocked everybody. And I told Ed on his page. I commented on his page. Don't stop talking about CMC and stop talking about Shane and just talk about Ed and Ed's page. But without her and without Shane and without all that back drama with the haters and blocking people, he says, if I've got something to say to you, I'll say it to your face. I'm not the kind of person to hide. But then he's like, you're blocked and you're blocked and you're blocked. Well, I said to him, why are you blocking people? Why don't you just, hear them out? You say that you're this upstanding person who's willing to stand up for what they believe in and to speak to someone's face. Well, then why block them, He has to know that people are going to come onto his page and ask questions about her. Because without her, nobody would care. Nobody would want to watch him. He has nothing to say. Now, the next time he goes live, it'll be the same thing. Shane Cole, call my house. You cocaine head, you midget. He, Ed is a, at one time, before Ed started going live, when I would just see him in the background, hear him speaking on her videos, I gave Ed a little bit more credit than he deserved. Because I saw Ed as just this guy who was just raised in Kentucky, kind of a backwoodsy type guy. But I always kind of gave Ed a little bit more credit as just being taken for granted by CMC. And that might have been what was going on in the beginning of their relationship. I gotta turn my heat up. I'm sorry. My hands are froze off. But now that I've seen him myself and seen him separate from her and talking, he's just a parrot. He is her puppet. And the things that he talks about on his page are just repeats of her. The things that she has talked about, It's like he doesn't have a thought in his head that's original outside of what's going on her page. But that also could be because so many people come onto his page and bring her up. There are probably a handful of people that watch him that are really there to watch him. And he was getting some people defending him last night. But for the most part, he was getting a lot of, backlash. He was getting what everybody wanted to put off on her. But she blocks everybody. And now he's doing the same thing, So whoever goes on there and backlashes him, he or she is going to block. And I just see Ed as this guy who just goes along with and does whatever he's told. He acts like in the background on her videos he would act like that he was the head of the house and the tough guy and you're not going to tell me what to do and be quiet, this and that and the other. But when you see him now with her, you see the puppet. And I do agree with whoever said that she set this page up for Ed. Now she set Ed up a backup page. See, the prank call page for Eddie's prank call, that's just his backup page in case he gets on there and says something and they start reporting him, So she's a lot smarter than people give her credit for. But she's a lot smarter than when it comes to, and I've said this over and over before, she's smart when it comes to making money. Even if it means scamming, lying, cheating, and stealing, and manipulating people, which is what she does for a living. But now she's got Ed doing it, and I believe it's because she's fearful. Now she knows she's going to have to start reporting this income and being watched, and probably not going to be able to make as much money herself as she has been. And now she's hoping that people will start sending money to Ed. And it won't be long before Ed will start dry begging. He will start talking about things that he needs. And if she does go to jail, which I don't think she's going to, but let's say, for example, maybe she did go to jail, he's going to start saying, without her income, I can't pay this and I can't pay that. And someone was talking about Mama Con not being real active right now. She's not talking about her much, and she's not been on her lives or whatever. I think the whole thing that happened around New Year's, was it? Or before? No, it was before Christmas. With Anna. On Anna's live when Anna was singing in CMC. And then that man that's kin to Anna got on there and started telling them, you're letting CMC cause you problems. Well, I agree with him on that. She should have told CMC, go on ahead and log off my live because, this is about me. I'm just having some fun, singing, and just enjoying myself. And I don't need you on here bringing your group of people or your group of haters. I guess that's what they consider us all to be. And Anna could have just had her own life, and but when all the stuff started but you know, she got mad because Anna was saying CMC did use Little B to try to get money and stuff. I think Mama's kind of staying out of it because she wants to be able to keep the little girl. That's her grandchild, you know. And you know, I think maybe that's the reason why Mama is kind of staying off in the background to just kind of stay out of the middle of all that drama. And she's probably told Crystal, you know, I'm not going to give up my ability to see the grandchildren, especially Little B, who she's probably had since she was born, basically taken care of. And she probably said to her, you know, if I have to choose between all this drama, I'm going to stay out of it and choose to be able to see the child. But if she needed money for something, she'd come over sniffing around, you know, see if Crystal couldn't come up with her a few dollars, in my opinion. But I haven't really been making videos solely for that reason, because I'm kind of feeling like it's time to move on from all that. I mean, as I said before, if something is, you know, in my face, you know, if someone comes up to me and says, well, let me tell you what I heard about so-and-so, and, you know, starts telling me stories about him, or if he himself contacts me or tries to contact me, I will talk about that. And I will talk about how I have been able to stand up and tell those people I really don't want to hear anything about him, really, because that's been years ago, and you know, I'm ready to put that behind me. I mean, it will never be behind me, you know what I mean? Not fully, because it changed me. It was an event in my life that changed me. And I like to think that it changed me for the better and had an impact on me that opened my eyes and really made me look at myself and look at what... It's like that song by Tim McGraw. I know I'm always talking about songs, but music does play a big role in our healing. It plays a big role in the events of our lives. But it's like that song says, a moment came that stopped me on a dime. And to me, that was the moment. That it was more than a moment, of course. It was a time longer than a moment, but it did. It was a wake-up call that stopped me and made me look at my life, look at the people in my life, and who I wanted in my life and who I didn't want in my life. And there's people that I was friends with and associated with before him that I would never talk to again right now. If I ran into them right now today and walked past them in the grocery store, I would just walk past them, because I have no desire or need to converse with them or, you know, ask them, how are you? You know, the little niceties that you do when you run into people. I don't need to know how they're doing, because I really don't care how they're doing. But I can just about guarantee that they're doing the same as they were. That it had finally dawned on me and come to me what I had gone through and what had happened, you know, what he was. Because I had lived with it for a long time before that, you know, trying to figure it out. What just happened to me? What happened to me 3-4 years ago that I'm still, you know, being, suffering from the fallout of it all. And him still reaching out to me and still manipulating me and still playing me, you know. But when it finally came to me and I finally realized And that word narcissism or narcissist finally popped in my head. And I was like, let me look at this. Let me look this up. Let me read about this. For probably a solid week, I sat in front of my computer looking, in front of my laptop, just looking and reading and absorbing. And my brain would go click, 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 click. And I'd say, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I started watching YouTube videos about it. And then I started talking about it myself, making my own videos. And he continued throughout the year to reach out to me, but that was after learning about narcissism, and I made the same mistakes that most people make. There are videos all over YouTube about this very subject of when you learn about that person being a narcissist and they hoover you for the first time after you learn and figure them out. You think that you can beat them at that game. You think that you can challenge them. Or you think, okay, I know enough about it now that I can, like, block. Like, who is it? Wonder Woman or whoever puts their bing, 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 puts their wrists up and it pings off of them. That's what you think the first time that they reach out to you after you've gained this knowledge. But it doesn't work because a narcissist has this built-in radar. They pick up on the slightest little difference in your behavior, in your reaction to them. It's like when someone that CMC has had as a supporter and as her loyal people, as she calls them, finally starts to wake up and challenges her in the comments. When are you going to do the, when are you going to do the giveaway you promised us? Look at all the stuff I sent you and look at all the stuff I helped you with and look how you treat me. Then she starts going into like, what are you talking about? I haven't ever said anything to you. And she starts defending herself and she starts changing her, she either gets really pissed off and just says, okay, if that's the way you feel, then just leave. I don't want anything else to do with you. Or she starts working them again in a different way. I didn't even see your comments. Why are you turning on me this way? She makes herself the victim. And that's what he did the first time. And I didn't say to him, I know you're a narcissist. That word never came up between me and him. But the first time he did hoover me after I learned about it, I was like very aloof. My answers were like yes or no. They call that gray rock, for those of you who don't know, when the narcissist reaches out to you. Instead of when they say, how have you been? If someone you knew come up to you and said, hey, how have you been? You'd say, oh, I've been great. Or, here's what's happening in my life, my job, my friends, my family. But when the narcissist asks, how have you been? You just say, good. One word answer. Leave it at that. They will continue to ask you questions. And you continue to give them one word responses. No information. No ability for them to, no asking them questions so to get a conversation going. You're just answering them if you have to. You don't even have to talk to them. But sometimes people can't avoid it. It may be a family member. It may be their own parent. It may be their in-law. It may be the father or mother of their child that they were married to. It may be a sibling. And in my case, it just happened to be a person that I was involved with. I don't even want to use the word romantically. I thought it was romantically. I thought it was a love relationship. But it was just a narcissistic, abusive encounter, you know. But like I said, that's the reason I started making the videos. It was kind of like in a way, it was just for me to tell my story of what had happened to me and how I came to find out. But keep in mind, when I started making those videos, I was still kind of like being hoovered by him, being reached out to by him. We were not in constant contact. It wasn't like we were talking daily or even weekly. I would hear from him. Let's say, for example, he would send me a text message in March, and then I wouldn't hear from him again until, say, June, you know. And then he started to, which was my mistake, that I responded to his messages. He started changing his narrative. Just like I said with CMC. She starts smoothing them in a different way. She starts changing her narrative. She becomes the victim. She becomes the, you know, unaware victim. Why are you talking to me this way? I didn't get a message from you saying that. I didn't do anything to you. Why are you against me? That's how they change, and they get you. They make you feel guilty. They make you feel like you're doing something wrong to them, so they sucker you back in. Because all you ever want from them is love, attention, and forgiveness. That's the brain injury. That is the heart and the soul and the psyche injury that you suffer from a narcissist. And even while you're healing, you could try again. What if I wanted, and he started back with the same old future faking. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's when the narcissist tells you everything's going to be better. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do that. CMC, for example, I'm going to have my own home. I'm moving to Tennessee. I'm doing this, that, and the other in the future. You know, beginning January the 1st, my page is going to be completely different. That's future faking by a narcissist. Let me get a drink of coffee real quick. They know that I'm not going to say they don't, that they know it's never going to happen. I think in their mind they convince themselves that it is going to happen. And that's the way that they're able to convince others. And that's probably, you know, and just like Ed was on there last night saying she didn't get $10,000. I tried to do Ed's voice. I know how much money she got, and it wasn't no 10,000. Well, she probably didn't tell you how much she got, Ed. Come on. I wouldn't tell my husband if I got 10,000. They live in a fantasy world where everything's going to be better tomorrow. Everything's going to be better next week. The way that he future faked with me in the beginning of our relationship was, we're going to travel and go on all these journeys and trips together. I'm going to take you to places that you've never been. And, you know, I'm going to be going to work at this company, and we're going to be traveling. And I want you to come with me. And I would have dropped everything in the world and packed my little, you know, knapsack or whatever, my little duffel bag on my shoulder, and gone with him wherever he wanted me to go. That was how much I was invested in him and in our relationship that I thought we had. But it was all fake. It was all just a part of his game, and CMC's doing the same thing to her people, playing these games. We're going to do Bible study. Oh, no, we're not going to do Bible study. I don't have a Bible. Oh, I got a Bible, but I didn't get a Bible. I need a Bible. She's probably got 10 Bibles in that house, and she can't find them for all the shit and piled up junk all over, piled up in corners and stuff. She's probably got 2 Bibles stacked up under her table, using it for a leg. But Anyway, I got off on a completely different subject, didn't I? I always do that. But I don't want this video to continue on. I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of an explanation about why I started making those videos about that. And as I learned, but back to what I was talking about real quick, let me wrap that up. He was saying to me, let's give it another shot. Let's try again. You're the one I really want. You're the one I want to be with. Blah blah blah. Well, by that point, I would have had nothing to do with him romantically. But I was back with the man I'm with now, and I just said to him, I'm not interested in, leaving him and pursuing anything with you or anybody else. And I told him I didn't think that I would be responding to any more messages from him, and that I just wasn't. He saw that I was no longer interested, and he saw that I was no longer wanting to play along with him and be his puppet or whatever it was. So he's left me alone, and a month and a half later, he was married to someone else. So that tells you he already had that person in his life, even though she publicly and on Facebook denied that she was seeing him. But that's the way narcissists are. They never throw anything away. That's why CMC hoards everything. And he hoards women, or at least he tries to, the ones that'll keep going along with him. But she found out. She found out that the cheater always cheats again. And she found out that the other woman, the other woman soon becomes the other woman, Or the other woman soon becomes the wife, and then there is another woman, I guess. It's very confusing. But what it boils down to is he's the same old dirty, underhanded, cheating, lying narcissist that he was with me. He became with her. And now he's probably doing it to someone else. And so, as I started making my videos about it, I was still learning these things. And stuff was coming to me, But I started talking about CMC because, as I've said in other videos, when I started watching her, and I picked up on it pretty quickly that she was a narcissist. I started seeing the lies and the manipulation and the fake the pageantry, of putting on this act of what? I didn't do anything wrong. Why? I didn't say that. It's a pattern. It's a pattern of repeat, just like Ed repeats himself over and over again. Narcissists recycle and repeat the same people, the same stories, the same lies. And there is a big group on YouTube that make videos and talk about the Hoover and how right when you let your guard down and think everything's good, they're out of my life. Here they are again. So, if that happens to me, I will tell everybody about it and I will talk about it. But anyway, I appreciate anybody who took the time to watch. I know I talked longer than I should have. Y'all know how I am. I get started on it. But as far as CMC goes, what day is her court date? Monday? Now, if we get this big snow, I don't know. I would say it'd be melted off by Monday because they're getting for it to be back up in like the 50s on Saturday. So hopefully she gets to go to court and everybody gets to see. I'm sure somebody will find out what was said, But anyway, everybody have a great day. And if you get snow, take pics.